Time is the one thing you can never get back. It doesn't care how much you wish for more or how much you regret the moments you've let slip away. Every second, every minute is an opportunity to change your life, to chase your dreams, to make an impact. So ask yourself, how are you spending the time you've been given? Because the clock is ticking, and you don't want to wake up one day and realize you've let it slip through your fingers. Regret is one of the most human emotions we experience. It whispers to us in the quiet moments, reminding us of the roads not taken, the words not spoken, and the chances we let slip away. It's heavy, almost suffocating at times, and it can feel like a punishment, a sentence handed down by life itself for our mistakes. But what if we viewed regret differently? What if, instead of seeing it as a punishment, we understood it as a teacher? My first piece of advice: see it as a teacher. You see, regret has a way of forcing us to pause. It's that uncomfortable feeling that makes us replay moments over and over again in our minds, dissecting every detail, wishing we could have done things differently. But that discomfort has a purpose. It's not there to make you suffer, it's there to make you learn. Regret doesn't exist to hold you down, it exists to wake you up. It's life's way of telling you, pay attention. This is where you went wrong. This is what you need to change. When we regret something, it's because we recognize that we didn't live up to our own potential. We see the gap between who we are and who we could have been, between what we've done and what we were capable of doing. That recognition hurts, but it's also powerful. It's the starting point for growth. Without regret, we might never take the time to reflect on our choices. We might never see the patterns that are holding us back, or the opportunities we're failing to seize. Regret forces us to confront those truths, no matter how uncomfortable they may be. But here's the problem: too many of us stop there. We feel regret, and instead of learning from it, we let it define us. We wear it like a badge of failure, carrying it around with us wherever we go. We replay the same mistakes in our minds over and over again, punishing ourselves for things we can no longer change. That's where regret becomes a prison, a sentence we impose on ourselves, locking us in a cycle of self-doubt and shame. What we need to understand is that regret is not meant to be permanent. It's not a life sentence. It's a tool, a guide, a lesson. The pain of regret is there to push us towards something better, to show us what we need to do differently next time. It's there to remind us of the value of the things we've lost or missed, so we don't take them for granted in the future. Regret isn't meant to break us. It's meant to build us. Think about it. If you regret something, it means you care. You care about doing better. You care about becoming the person you know you're capable of being. That's a gift. Regret is a sign that you're alive, that you're striving, that you're still in the fight. It's not the end of the road. It's the beginning of a new one. But only if you're willing to listen to what it's trying to teach you. The key to dealing with regret is to stop running from it. Instead of avoiding it or trying to numb the pain, lean into it. Ask yourself, what is this regret trying to teach me? What can I learn from this experience? Maybe it's teaching you to prioritize your time better. Maybe it's showing you the importance of speaking up when it matters. Maybe it's reminding you to cherish the relationships that truly matter in your life. It's whatever the lesson is, take it, hold on to it. Use it. Once you've learned the lesson, let the rest go. Regret isn't meant to weigh you down forever. It's meant to point you in the right direction. Carry the lesson with you, not the pain. Use what you've learned to make better choices, to take the chances you were too afraid to take before, to be the person you've always wanted to be. That's how you turn regret into a teacher, rather than letting it be your jailer. Leadership is about taking retribution. Every time you feel regret, remember this. It's not there to punish you. It's there to push you. It's not a sentence, it's a sign that you still have time, that you still have a chance to change, to grow, to do better. Listen to it, learn from it, and then move forward. Because that's what regret is really for. Not to remind you of what you've lost, but to show you what you still have to gain. If there is ever anything that reminds you of what you've lost, but to show you what you still have to gain, then keep. Life is a series of choices, big and small, that shape who we are and where we end up. From the moment we wake up in the morning to the time we close our eyes at night, every decision we make contributes to the life we build. The power of choice is one of the greatest gifts we've been given, but it's also one of the most misunderstood. People often underestimate just how much their choices define them, and instead of owning that power, they allow circumstances, fear, or even other people to dictate their path. Every choice we make is a reflection of what we value. When we decide how to spend our time, we're essentially saying, this is what's important to me. When we choose who to spend our energy on, we're declaring who matters most in our lives. And when we decide how to respond to challenges or setbacks, we're showing the world and ourselves what kind of person we are. Choice is not just about deciding between one option or another. It's about revealing who we are at our core. But the thing about choice is that it comes with responsibility. It's easy to blame others or external circumstances when things go wrong. But the truth is, much of what happens in our lives is the result of the choices we've made. It's a hard pill to swallow, but an empowering one too. If your choices got you here, then your choices can also take you somewhere else. That's the beauty of it. You have the power to change your direction at any moment. You're never truly stuck unless you choose to be. Fear is one of the biggest obstacles to making the right choices. We're afraid of making mistakes, afraid of what people will think, afraid of stepping into the unknown. But the irony is that not making a choice is still a choice. When you let fear hold you back, you're choosing to stay where you are, choosing to let life happen to you instead of taking control. The power of choice doesn't mean you'll always get it right. Far from it. But it does mean you have the opportunity to learn, to grow, and to keep moving forward, even when you stumble. One of the most important aspects of choice is recognizing that you can't control everything, but you can always control how you respond. Life will throw challenges at you, unexpected events, disappointments, even heartbreak. You may not have a say in what happens, but you always have a say in how you handle it. You can choose to let it break you, or you can choose to let it build you. You can choose to wallow in self-pity, or you can choose to rise above it. That's the power of choice. It gives you agency, even in the toughest of circumstances. Too often, people give away their power of choice without even realizing it. They let others dictate their actions, their values, their dreams. They conform to what's expected of them instead of pursuing what they truly want. But when you give away your power of choice, you give away a piece of yourself. You allow someone else to define your life, and in doing so, you lose sight of who you are. Taking back that power starts with understanding that your choices are yours and yours alone. No one else has the right to make them for you, and no one else can live with the consequences of those choices but you. It's also important to remember that not every choice will lead to immediate rewards. Sometimes the best decisions require patience and perseverance. Choosing to stick with something when it's hard, choosing to sacrifice short-term comfort for long-term gain, these are the kinds of choices that build character and lead to lasting success. But they're not easy, and they often require you to trust the process, even when you can't see the results yet. The power of choice is a reminder that you are not a victim of your circumstances. You may not have control over where you started, but you always have a say in where you're going. Every day is an opportunity to make choices that align with your values, your goals, and the life you want to create. Even the smallest decisions can have a ripple effect, leading to opportunities and outcomes you never imagined. Your life is the sum of your choices. It's not about perfection or always knowing the right answer. It's about taking responsibility for your path and embracing the power you have to shape it. Choices give you freedom, even when they're hard. They give you the ability to write your own story, no matter what chapters have come before. That is the true power of choice. Time is the most valuable resource we have, yet it is often the most misused. Every second, every minute that slips by is something we can never get back. Once it's gone forever, and yet so many of us treat time as though we have an endless supply. We procrastinate, we delay, we make excuses, all the while convincing ourselves that tomorrow will somehow offer us more opportunities than today. But the truth is, time waits for no one, and wasting it is one of the greatest disservices we can do to ourselves. God created time because he was curious about us, so he could make something. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking there's always more time. We tell ourselves, I'll do it later, or I'll start tomorrow. But those tomorrows have a way of turning into weeks, months, even years. And before we know it, we're looking back and realizing how much time we let slip through our fingers. The dreams we wanted to chase, the goals we wanted to accomplish, the relationships we wanted to nurture, they all fall victim to the time we wasted on distractions, doubt, and delay. Wasting time often stems from a lack of focus. In today's world, distractions are everywhere. Our phones, social media, endless entertainment options, they all compete for our attention, pulling us away from the things that truly matter. We scroll mindlessly, binge watch for hours, and convince ourselves that these activities are harmless. But every moment spent on these distractions is a moment taken away from something meaningful. It's a moment we could have used to work on our goals, to invest in ourselves, or to connect with the people we love. Another reason people waste time is fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of stepping out of their comfort zones. It all leads to inaction. Instead of taking bold steps forward, we hesitate. We second-guess ourselves, waiting for the perfect moment that never comes. But the perfect moment is a myth. The only moment we truly have is the one right in front of us. And the longer we wait, the harder it becomes to take that first step. Fear feeds on wasted time, growing stronger with every day we let slip by. There's also the trap of routine. We get so caught up in the monotony of our daily lives that we stop paying attention to how we're spending our time. We go through the motions, doing what's comfortable or familiar, without questioning whether it's actually moving us closer to our goals. Days blend into weeks, weeks into months, and before we know it, we're stuck in a cycle of wasted potential. Breaking out of that cycle requires awareness. It requires us to look at our habits and ask ourselves whether they're serving us or holding us back. One of the most powerful ways to stop wasting time is to recognize its value. Time is a finite resource, and none of us know how much of it we have left. When we truly understand this, it changes the way we approach our days. We start to see every moment as an opportunity, a chance to grow, to learn, to make progress, to make a difference. We stop taking time for granted and start treating it as the precious gift it is. And another key to reclaiming wasted time is setting clear priorities. When we know what matters most to us, it becomes easier to focus our energy on the right things. Instead of spreading ourselves thin or getting caught up in distractions, we can channel our efforts into what truly aligns with our goals and values. Prioritizing also means learning to say no to tasks, to people, to anything that doesn't contribute to the life we want to create. Every no to something unimportant is a yes to something meaningful. Accountability is another powerful tool. When we hold ourselves accountable for how we spend our time, we become more intentional. Whether it's tracking our progress, setting deadlines, or finding someone to keep us on track, accountability pushes us to use our time wisely. It forces us to confront the reality of our actions and make the changes necessary to move forward. Stopping the cycle of wasting time requires discipline. It requires us to make choices that may not always be easy, but are necessary for our growth. It's about delaying gratification, resisting distractions, and doing the hard work even when we don't feel like it. Discipline is what separates those who make the most of their time from those who let it slip away. Time is a resource we all have in equal measure, but how we use it makes all the difference. Each day is an opportunity to move closer to our goals, to live with purpose, to create a life we're proud of. Wasting time is a choice, but so is making the most of it. The question is, which choice will you make? Regret is a heavy burden, one that can linger in the background of our lives, quietly shaping our thoughts, actions, and decisions. It's an emotion that stems from missed opportunities, poor choices, or words left unspoken. But no matter how painful it may feel, regret is not something we can run from forever. It will catch up with us eventually, and when it does, the only way to truly free ourselves from its weight is to face it head on. Many people avoid confronting their regrets because it's uncomfortable. It's hard to revisit moments in our lives where we feel we could have done better, said something different, or taken a different path. The pain of those moments can feel overwhelming, and the instinct to push them aside or bury them deep is strong. But ignoring regret doesn't make it go away. It only gives it more power. Every struggle says, "Punish me truly," the longer we avoid it, the more it festers, quietly influencing our present and holding us back from living fully. Facing regret starts with acknowledgement. It requires us to look at the choices we've made, the opportunities we've made, or the mistakes we've committed and take responsibility for them. This doesn't mean beating ourselves up or wallowing in guilt. It means owning our actions and understanding the role we played in shaping our circumstances. Acknowledgement is the first step toward growth because it brings the truth to the surface. And the truth, no matter how painful, is what sets us free. Once we've acknowledged our regrets, the next step is reflection. This means digging deeper to understand the why behind our actions. What led us to make those choices? Was it fear, ignorance, a lack of self-awareness? Reflecting on these questions allows us to identify the patterns or habits that may have contributed to our regret. It's not about finding excuses, it's about uncovering the lessons hidden within the pain. Regret, when faced with courage, becomes a powerful teacher. Many of the lessons regret offers are rooted in self-awareness. It shows us where we went wrong, but it also highlights what matters most to us. For example, if you regret not spending more time with a loved one who has passed away, that regret teaches you the value of relationships and the importance of being present with the people you care about. If you regret not pursuing a dream, it reveals how deeply that dream mattered to you and pushes you to reconsider the excuses you've made. Regret is a mirror that reflects not just our past, but our deepest desires and values. Facing regret also requires forgiveness, both for ourselves and sometimes for others. We are human, and to be human is to be imperfect. We make mistakes, we fall short, and we fail. But holding on to anger or shame over those mistakes only deepens the wound. Forgiving ourselves is an act of self-compassion. It's a way of saying, I did the best I could with what I knew at the time. It's a recognition that while we can't change the past, we can choose how we move forward. And if others were involved in the events that caused our regret, forgiving them is equally important. It doesn't mean condoning their actions. It means freeing ourselves from the chains of resentment. But one of the most transformative aspects of facing regret is the clarity it brings. When we stop running from regret and start addressing it, we gain a clearer understanding of what we want in life. We see our priorities with sharper focus and are better equipped to make decisions aligned with our values. Regret, when properly understood, can fuel our determination to do better and be better. It motivates us to seize the opportunities we still have and to live in a way that minimizes future regrets. Facing regret is not a one-time event, it's a process. It takes courage, honesty, and patience, but the rewards of doing so are immense. Regret, when faced, loses its power to paralyze us. It no longer holds us captive in the past. Instead, it becomes a catalyst for growth, a source of wisdom, and a reminder of our resilience. It challenges us to become more intentional in how we live our lives and to strive for a future we can look back on with pride, not pain. Recommend. Facing regret is about transformation. It's about turning something that feels negative and painful into a force for good. It's about recognizing that our mistakes don't define us. Our willingness to learn from them does. Regret doesn't have to be the end of the story. It can be the beginning of a new chapter, one filled with purpose, hope, and the determination to live fully. Regret is a weight that can shape our lives, often in ways we don't even realize. It is an emotion born from missed opportunities, unspoken words, or actions we wish we could undo. While regret has the power to haunt us, it also holds the potential to guide us if we choose to face it. Avoiding regret may seem easier in the moment, but avoidance only strengthens its hold on us. The only way to move forward is to confront regret, to understand it, and to allow it to transform us into stronger, wiser individuals. Facing regret begins with the difficult task of acknowledgement. Many people struggle with this step because acknowledging regret forces us to confront our imperfections. It requires us to look back at our choices, our mistakes, and even our failures without the shield of denial or justification. This can be an uncomfortable process, but it is also a liberating one. Acknowledging regret does not mean dwelling on it or letting it consume us. It means recognizing its presence and taking responsibility for the role we played in creating it. It is the first step in taking control of our lives, instead of letting regret control us. Acknowledgement, however, is not enough on its own. True growth comes from reflection, a deeper examination of the circumstances and decisions that led to the regret. This is where we ask ourselves the hard questions. Why did we make that choice? What were we feeling or fearing at the time? What did we fail to consider? Reflection is not about self-punishment. It is about self-discovery. It is about uncovering the patterns, habits, or mindsets that contributed to our actions so that we can learn from them. Regret, when approached with curiosity rather than judgment, can become one of life's greatest teachers. One of the most powerful lessons that regret teaches us is what truly matters. Often the things we regret are tied to the values we hold dear but fail to honor in the moment. If we regret not spending enough time with loved ones, it reveals how much we value connection and relationships. If we regret letting fear stop us from pursuing a dream, it shows us how deeply we care about that aspiration. Thank you. Thank you for pursuing your dreams. Thank you for pursuing your dreams. Regret has a way of clarifying our priorities, helping us see what we want to protect, nurture, or pursue moving forward. It shines a light on our deepest desires and gives us a roadmap for living a more meaningful life. Facing regret also requires forgiveness. It is impossible to move forward while carrying the heavy burden of self-blame or resentment. Forgiving ourselves is not about excusing our mistakes. It is about accepting that we are human, imperfect, and always learning. It means acknowledging that we acted based on what we knew at the time and giving ourselves the grace to grow from the experience. Forgiveness is an act of self-compassion, and it is essential for healing. Sometimes, regret involves others who may have hurt us or played a role in our pain. In these cases, forgiveness extends outward. While it does not mean condoning harmful actions, it frees us from the chains of bitterness and allows us to reclaim our peace. When we face regret with honesty and courage, it transforms from a source of pain into a source of clarity and motivation. It challenges us to take action, to make changes, and to seize the opportunities still available to us. Regret can push us to have the conversations we've been avoiding, to take risks we've been too afraid to take, or to make amends for past mistakes. It is a reminder that life is precious and that we have the power to shape our future in ways that align with our values and aspirations. Confronting regret is not a one-time process. It is an ongoing journey. There will always be moments of doubt, pain, or reflection as we navigate life's challenges. But every time we face regret, we gain strength. We become more self-aware, more resilient, and more intentional in how we live. Regret loses its power to hold us back and instead becomes a force that propels us forward. Regret rises from within us to forge meaningful connections. So, regret rises from the forward and instead becomes a force that propels us forward. It teaches us to appreciate the present, to honor our values, and to approach life with a renewed sense of purpose. It reminds us that our past does not define us. It is our willingness to learn, grow, and change that truly shapes who we are. Time is the most valuable resource we have, yet it is often the one we take most for granted. Unlike money or material possessions, time cannot be earned back, borrowed, or stored away for later use. It flows continuously, slipping through our fingers no matter how tightly we try to hold on to it. Every second that passes is a second we will never get back, making it imperative to recognize the value of time and use it wisely. Too often, people realize the true worth of time only when it has already been wasted. But the sooner we grasp its importance, the more fulfilling and meaningful our lives can become. One of the biggest challenges in valuing time lies in the distractions that surround us daily. In a world filled with endless entertainment, social media, and trivial pursuits, it is easy to let hours, days, or even years pass without any real sense of accomplishment. These distractions can create the illusion that we have plenty of time to achieve our goals, mend relationships, or chase our dreams, but time does not wait. Every moment we spend scrolling through our phones or procrastinating on our responsibilities is a moment lost forever. It is not that leisure or relaxation is wrong. These are essential parts of a balanced life. But mindless time wasting can rob us of opportunities to grow, connect, and achieve. Another reason time feels undervalued is that it often appears limitless in the moment. When we are young, we feel as though we have all the time in the world to figure things out, to start over, or to reach for what we want. But as the years pass, the reality of time's finite nature begins to set in. Suddenly, the opportunities we once thought we had forever to pursue seem to slip away. The window to chase certain dreams narrows, and the regret of wasted time becomes heavier. Thus, the truth is, time has always been limited. It is just that we often fail to see its limits until it is too late. Understanding this can motivate us to use the time we have left with purpose and intention. Time also holds a unique quality. It is the great equalizer. No matter who we are, where we come from, or what resources we possess, we all have the same 24 hours in a day. How we choose to spend those hours determines the course of our lives. Some people use their time to build, create, and contribute, while others let it slip by without direction. The difference is not in the amount of time available, but in the choices we make about how to use it. On where you roam, let your choices we make about how to use it. This is why prioritization is so crucial. When we align our time with our values and goals, we can make the most of the opportunities life presents us. It is not about being busy for the sake of being busy. It is about being intentional with the time we have. Moreover, valuing time means valuing the moments that make up our lives, whether they are big or small. Too often, people focus only on monumental achievements or milestones, forgetting that life is made up of countless smaller moments. A conversation with a loved one, a walk in the park, or a quiet moment of reflection can be just as significant as major accomplishments. These moments may seem insignificant at first, but they are the threads that weave the fabric of our lives. By being present and mindful in each moment, we can fully appreciate the richness of life and avoid the feeling that time is slipping away unnoticed. The way we spend our time also reflects what we value most. If we find ourselves constantly saying we are too busy for the things that truly matter, spending time with family, pursuing personal passions, or taking care of our well-being, it may be a sign that we need to reevaluate our priorities. Life is not guaranteed, and the time we have with the people we love or the opportunities to follow our dreams is limited. Recognizing this can help us make decisions that honor what truly matters, rather than allowing ourselves to be consumed by things that, in the end, are inconsequential. Time is also deeply tied to growth and change. Every moment is an opportunity to learn, to improve, and to move closer to becoming the person we aspire to be. While it is easy to dwell on past mistakes or missed opportunities, it is important to remember that the time ahead of us is filled with potential. What we do with that time is entirely up to us. Each day is a blank slate, a chance to make better choices, to take risks, and to move forward with purpose. The key is to approach time with gratitude and urgency, treating it as the precious resource it is. The most powerful realization about time is that it is finite. None of us knows exactly how much time we have, which makes it all the more important to use it wisely. Instead of waiting for the right moment to pursue our dreams or make changes in our lives, we must act now. Procrastination and hesitation only rob us of the opportunities that exist in the present. Every second counts, and each one offers a chance to live more fully, love more deeply, and contribute more meaningfully to the world around us. By treating time as the gift it is, we can ensure that when we look back on our lives, we do so with a sense of fulfillment and peace rather than regret.